Former President Trump's trial date for allegedly falsifying business records has been set for March 25th of next year. ABC legal analyst Dan Abrams.
He's not going to be able to say, I need to be at a campaign rally. If they determine that this is the trial date, that's the date he's going to have to be there.
Another day and still no debt ceiling deal. Talks resuming in Washington today. Also in Washington, a court hearing for the 19-year-old accused of ramming a U-Haul truck into a barrier just outside the White House. ABC Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas.
Newly released court documents say Cy Kandula told investigators his goal was to get to the White House, seize power, and be put in charge of the nation. When asked how he would seize power, Kandula allegedly said he would kill the president if that's what I have to do and would hurt anyone that would stand in my way.
Typhoon Mawar, a Category 4 storm right now, bearing down on the island of Guam. It's expected to be the worst weather to hit the Pacific nation in decades. 1 year after the Uvalde, Texas shooting, a criminal investigation is still underway into the police response or lack thereof. 19 children and 2 teachers shot and killed at Robb Elementary. This is ABC News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401.
All right, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Had to double check that calendar there. We got a lot to tackle today, including state lawmakers heading back to Springfield in overtime to craft a budget so taxpayers actually know how their money's going to be spent. We'll touch on peacekeepers going to be let loose in Chicago at a $700,000 cost. That's just for the next few months. What about the costs heading into the new fiscal year? We'll talk about migrants. We'll talk about the clergy sex abuse report that came out from the Attorney General. Ron DeSantis going to be on Twitter tonight talking about his run for president. But up next, let's tackle the pistol brace ruling. What does that mean for a lot of people across the country? Where are we at with all of Illinois' litigation against gun legislation in this state? So stay tuned. We'll get to that next here on WMAY. It's now 6:04. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Nearly 80 years after he died in combat in World War II, the remains of an airman from southern Illinois are being brought back home. 32-year-old Tech Sergeant Harold Kretzer of Odin was flying a mission over Romania when his plane went down, and he was buried in an American cemetery in Belgium. Early next month, Kretzer's remains will arrive at his final resting place, Camp Butler National Cemetery in Springfield, with ceremonies planned there at 1 p.m. on June 2nd. The Illinois State Fair has booked Alanis Morissette for the grandstand this summer. The 7-time Grammy winner has sold more than 75 million records and will perform in Springfield on Sunday, August 13th. She's best known for hits like You Ought to Know, Hand in My Pocket, and Ironic. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster with prices ranging from $85 to $95, or a Blue Ribbon Zone ticket for $150. A northwestern Illinois man is facing federal charges after he allegedly drove his car into a building that's being planned for use as an abortion clinic in Danville. Prosecutors say 73-year-old Philip Bino of Prophetstown was found stuck inside the vehicle that he had backed into the building, which is currently undergoing renovations. He was reportedly carrying several canisters of gasoline with him, and he's being charged with attempted arson. Bino could face 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted of the attempted arson charge. Ground has been broken on a new $10 million base civil engineer complex that could mark the beginning of a new era for Springfield's Air National Guard unit. The 183rd Wing will consolidate several operations into the new facility at Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Since the unit lost its fighter jets more than a decade ago, it's been evolving into a support role for a variety of military operations. U.S. Senator Dick Durbin and Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher joined other dignitaries and National Guard officials for the groundbreaking ceremony. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 4, our 100% non-prorated warranty. Have you ever purchased something with a limited warranty? When you actually need something serviced, you find they won't do anything for you. Our warranties are not limited. We'll take care of you, whether you've had our mattress 15 days or up to 15 years. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Listen, at Verlo Mattress, saving a lot on a comfortable mattress with a lifetime comfort guarantee is easy. Why? Well, because we make our mattresses right at the store. Yeah, we cut out the middleman, and voila, you got it. We pass the savings directly on to you every day. So hurry in today to your local Verlo, where there are no middleman markups. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
From the Shawnee Forest to the city of Champaign and beyond, our Health Alliance members come from all over Illinois and all walks of life. But they have one thing in common. They're part of a powerful alliance that puts community first. Because Illinois isn't just their home, it's ours too. For over 40 years, Health Alliance has been covering members like their family. With more in-network providers, more personalized help, and a service team that goes the extra mile. Visit healthalliance.org/together to learn more and enroll.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. It's all clear skies and fair weather. Sunny today, 86 degrees. Low tonight about 54. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 73. Low around 47. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80. And Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
This is the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, sponsored by Barcom Security.
I'm Officer Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers Coordinator for Sangamon and Menard counties. This week, Crime Stoppers is seeking information to assist the Springfield Police Department reference a motor vehicle theft that occurred on May 11th, 2023 around 9:30 a.m. at Seven Brothers Grocery, located at 1801 South 11th Street in Springfield, Illinois. The victim parked their car and entered the store. The suspect, who appeared to be a male, wearing blue shoes, gray pants, a white shirt, and black hooded sweatshirt, proceeded to walk to the victim's vehicle, get in, and drive away westbound on Laurel. The vehicle was later recovered, but the suspect has not been identified. Photos of the suspect can be viewed on our website, cashfortips.us. If you can identify the suspect, call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 217-788-8427. Submit a tip on our website or use the P3 app. If your tip results in an arrest, you could receive a cash reward up to $2,500. Remember, Crime Stoppers only want your information, not your name.
Catch a criminal, get a reward. Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County, sponsored by the Springfield office of Barcom Security. BarcomSecurity.com. Have a secure day.
Unpunished crime. Do you wonder sometimes if you're next on a criminal's target list? It's hard to know the real answer, but it's easy to make sure that you and your family are more secure. Barcom Security protects by minimizing response times. When trouble strikes, you're backed up with a live person who takes your call 24 hours a day. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Hats off to blood donors. Right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a limited edition navy blue Impact Life baseball hat or a $25 gift card voucher to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a gift. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please Give what's in your heart, because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Happy Wednesday, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And something we've been tracking a lot of is Illinois litigation against the state's gun and magazine ban. Hasn't been a lot of movement there. So we'll touch on where we're at with that litigation. But there's stuff popping all over the country that deals with gun rights and challenges against either laws in states or even federal rules through the ATF. And there was a big ruling yesterday that deals with pistol braces. And this is impacting potentially millions of people across the country when it comes to a rule that the ATF had put together concerning pistol braces. If you're not familiar with what a pistol brace is, it essentially allows for people with disabilities to, maybe somebody who's an amputee, they can fire a semi-automatic firearm with more accuracy and stability if they have a pistol brace. But what happened was the ATF had a rule that reclassified these braces as attached to firearms as short-barreled rifles, and thereby violating the National Firearms Act, which was passed decades ago and deals with all kinds of what may be considered dangerous and unusual weapons. But yesterday, in the Fifth Circuit's Court of Appeals for the federal courts, they granted an injunction pending appeal of this case, and the order says it's ordered that the appeal is expedited to the next available oral argument calendar. It's further ordered that appellant's opposed motion for a preliminary injunction pending appeal is granted as the plaintiffs in this case. So the Firearms Policy Coalition, they're pretty active on social media, and at first when this ruling came out, they plastered it all over. It got shared a ton. A lot of people talking about this, but there were questions as to who would be impacted by this. Because in Illinois, when we had temporary restraining orders in state courts issued against the law being enforced on individuals, that only impacted the named plaintiffs in those Illinois cases. If you recall, Tom DeVore, an attorney, he has thousands of clients that have temporary restraining orders keeping them safe from the state, enforcing the state's gun and magazine ban against them. But it did not impact statewide. It wasn't until the federal courts in the Southern District issued a preliminary injunction that impacted everybody statewide. But again, that only lasted for 6 days, when the state went to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals and got a stay on that injunction. We've talked a lot about that. But with this particular issue, this is a federal issue, and it deals with the ATF and their rule saying that these pistol braces are short-barreled rifles, or can convert a firearm into a short-barreled rifle. But again, you got a judge who, a circuit court, saying that there's an injunction here with an expedited appeal. But who's impacted by this? Questions remained. Firearms Policy Coalition, after talking with their attorneys and digesting the order, they ended up putting out a statement on Twitter saying if you joined Federal Firearms Policy Coalition, FPC, at joinfpc.org or renewed in the past 12 months, then you're good to go. If you're unsure about membership status, just email, and our awesome fulfillment team members will give you a hand. And if you haven't, consider joining FPC today, as they are hunting gun control, and their legal team needs the help to continue their work. And then they share an image. What was that from? Was that from Predator? with the two main characters there given, a high five and a flex of their massive muscles. So this obviously is a big news day for those who've been watching this case very closely because I think it was like June 1st when the rule would go into effect, essentially criminalizing potentially millions of people across the country. But you have this ruling that's been issued in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals for the federal courts granting that injunction pending appeal in this case. Obviously, the federal government's going to appeal this if they haven't already filed that appeal, and it'll go on from there. But you've got an injunction in place, but only impacting members who sued, including the Firearm Policy Coalition that has members that are part of this lawsuit simply by being members. Now, where are we at with all of the state level and federal level cases here in the state of Illinois challenging the gun and magazine ban that was issued January 10th? Well, there's a lot. We haven't had much movement, but just to kind of give you a place setting of where we are, you've got Tom DeVore's cases, 3 of them consolidated in the lower courts. That's still being hashed out. The latest status I saw was that a judge has taken a motion under advisement concerning the possibility of releasing information through subpoenas to get information from not just legislative leaders on how they crafted the law, but also nonprofit associations representing law enforcement across the state, how they may have been involved. So that's all down in the lower county level courts in state court in Illinois. Then you have the Macon County case brought by State Representative Dan Calkins. That was heard by the Illinois Supreme Court just the other week, and they still have that under advisement. So those are the state level cases. The federal level cases, you got the Southern District of Illinois cases that were consolidated. They have now been consolidated in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals after an injunction was issued, and the Seventh Circuit reversed that injunction with a stay. And those cases are on an expedited process as well. They're consolidated with a couple of Northern District Illinois gun ban challenges that don't just challenge the state's gun ban, but also challenge Cook County and Chicago's gun ban and Naperville's gun ban. So that case is pending in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals with an expedited briefing schedule, and they're set to hear that in oral arguments next month, June 29th, in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, that's where those cases are because the U.S. Supreme Court, they denied taking up the case because the expedited appeal in the Seventh Circuit's ongoing. So the U.S. Supreme Court denied an emergency injunction in the Naperville challenge. So that's kind of where we're at in the ongoing litigation against not just Illinois' gun ban, but also gun regulation and rules across the country, let alone all of the other challenges there are to other states' legislation and laws. You've got a case out of Maryland that could impact what the Seventh Circuit Court does in this jurisdiction. You've got cases in California. You've got things dealing with whether or not somebody who's a cannabis user being kept from being able to own firearms, whether or not somebody who is hit with a red flag law, not convicted of anything, whether those orders of protection can restrict somebody's rights to the Second Amendment. Those are things that are being dealt with in other courts across the country. So there's a lot going on when it comes to the Second Amendment and the litigation that's ongoing and continuing across the spectrum, not just from federal courts, but to state courts, not just from gun bans, but to other measures when it comes to how firearms are regulated in this country. So tons still on the table. And one big question here in Illinois is, will Illinois' gun ban be sorted out before the January 1st, 2024 deadline for people to register their firearms? That has yet to be seen. So obviously we'll be keeping a close eye on that. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast. Today, the high of 86, sunshine with a low of 54, clear skies into Thursday. Sunny with a high of 73. Friday, sunny with a high of 75. Saturday, we're looking at sunshine, high near 80, and Sunday, mostly sunny, the high of 82. For Memorial Day, sunny, the high of 86. Right now, sun's out, 54 degrees. It's 6:20 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Lauterbach Man here. I'm the hulking, handsome man standing out front of Lauterbach Tire and Auto. At Lauterbach Tire, we sell tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lauterbach Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lauterbach Tire. Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health: meditation. It starts with proper breathing. By breathing in slowly for 5 or 10 seconds and exhaling, counting the same way, for just a few minutes each day has been a big deal for many people as they reach a new level of relaxation. Now, that's just a start. If your feelings of depression and hopelessness are accentuated with drugs and alcohol, then you may need some professional help. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychiatrists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Gateway also uses meditation as a key component of their successful treatment. Your insurance covers the cost, and the Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives. John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
We're going to be taking your calls on this here in a bit, and that is the GOP field for president, with Ron DeSantis entering the GOP race for president. Which current candidate are you supporting? Go vote at WMAY.com/poll. Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Asa Hutchinson. Looks like so far this morning, very few votes, but about 50% of you say that you support Ron DeSantis at this point. So go check it out, WMAY.com/poll. While you're at the website, be sure to check out how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport. Fly SPI, celebrating 75 years as Springfield's airport at WMAY.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Been seeing a lot of people on social media sharing a variety of stories in tandem, highlighting what they say is possibly going to be a false flag event. What are those stories? Well, apparently 60,000 pounds of some kind of explosives, a U-Haul truck crashing into a barrier in Washington, D.C., and senators being given satellite phones. These things combined causing some people to post that there's possibly some false flag event that's just around the corner. This is coming from, again, a variety of different Twitterers and, TikTokers and whatnot. But Newsweek, they compiled all this together. And the headline here is Emergency Satellite Phones Issued to Senators Fuels Conspiracy Claims. And they go on to talk about all of the different allegations that are circulating, and they try to, quote, debunk this. But what is some of the things they're highlighting here? Of course, there's a story out of CBS about 50 U.S. senators being issued satellite phones for emergency communications. By the way, just a public service announcement. Emergency communications extremely important. We all rely on our cell phones to, pretty much do everything, including, flashlights and make phone calls and, check the latest scores for your sports team. But these can go down any moment, right? I mean, the cell towers, they might have some battery backups, but there's a variety of things that can cause cell towers to go down, including natural events. So emergency communications is very important. I think it's one reason why several years ago I got my ham operator license for amateur radio. I'm nowhere near proficient to the degree a lot of others are, but at least I've got a unit and I know how I can set it up and get the antenna and actually communicate with people in times of an emergency. And that's all decentralized. So emergency communication is very important. Just want to make sure that we highlight that. But U.S. senators getting satellite phones for emergency communications on top of other stories, including apparently a large amount of a certain type of chemical that's gone missing from a supplier, 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, chemical used in explosives, quote, just vanished into thin air. And this story was actually first reported out of a radio station in California. The rail car carrying 60,000 pounds of the substance went missing while being shipped by a rail car from Wyoming to California sometime in April, according to a San Francisco radio station. The company found on April 26th that details showed they didn't have any of the product in the rail cars. It just seems to have disappeared. It was found to be empty 2 weeks after departure and upon arrival at a rail stop in the Mojave Desert. Details stated that there's an incident report with the explosives company, which sent to the National Response Center May 10th. according to KQED, San Francisco radio station. So that's another story on top of this. And again, it's all fueling these allegations of a potential false flag. Then you stack that on top of the person who drove a U-Haul truck in a barricade in Washington, D.C., apparently had a Nazi flag in there. So, what's going on there? There's some bizarre stories that people are connecting all together as it's some kind of Mel Gibson movie back in the 90s, and we'll see what happens. It's obviously a lot of people have their interest piqued. And a lot of speculation out there. And one thing the internet is great at doing is amplifying certain theories over others, and they spread like wildfire. But again, Newsweek, I guess the arbiter of conspiracy theories, says there's nothing to see here. Move along. No big breaking news. Linking all of these things together. Obviously, you want to be a very discerning news consumer, somebody who gets everything from all sides. And listen, I get paid to delve deep into the news on a daily basis. A lot of you can't do that, so you rely on news outlets to do that. But be as discerning as you can when it comes to getting the information that you get. All right, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Some big developments out of the Illinois Attorney General's investigation of child sex abuse within the Catholic Church. And we'll hear a lot of that news conference yesterday and also get you reaction from the Springfield Archdiocese and Bishop Thomas John Paprocki releasing a statement in response to the Attorney General's report about clergy child sex abuse. So stay tuned. That's coming up next here on WMAY with Springfield's Morning News. Now 6:32, and let's check headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. For those seeking to live in the most sustainable way, there is now an afterlife also. A Dutch inventor is now growing biodegradable coffins by putting mycelium, the root structure of mushrooms, together with hemp fiber in a special mold that in a week turns into a coffin that looks much like an unpainted Egyptian sarcophagus. And while traditional wooden coffins come from trees that can take decades to grow and years to break down in the soil, the mushroom versions biodegrade and deliver the remains to nature in barely a month and a half. A northwestern Illinois man is facing federal charges after he allegedly drove his car into a building that's being planned for use as an abortion clinic in Danville. Prosecutors say 73-year-old Philip Bino of Prophetstown was found stuck inside the vehicle that he had backed into the building, which is currently undergoing renovations. He was reportedly carrying several canisters of gasoline with him, and he's being charged with attempted arson. Bino could face 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted of the attempted arson charge. With time running out, U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says something has to happen now to resolve the dispute over the federal debt ceiling. But Durbin is as much in the dark as anyone about what a successful deal might look like. Durbin says he's willing to make some compromises to avoid a catastrophic default as early as June 1st, but says Republicans have to be willing to give some ground too. The Illinois State Fair has booked another big name for the grandstand this summer. Alanis Morissette, a 7-time Grammy winner who has sold more than 75 million records, will perform in Springfield on Sunday, August 13th. She's best known for hits like You Ought to Know, Hand in My Pocket, and Ironic. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster with prices ranging from $85 to $95 or a Blue Ribbon Zone ticket of $150. A 5-year investigation into sexual abuse of children by Roman Catholic clergy across Illinois has produced a sweeping report alleging more than 450 offenders and nearly 2,000 victims since 1950. The report released by Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says several former Catholic bishops in the Springfield Diocese, William O'Connor, Joseph McNicholas, and Daniel Ryan, ignored warnings about misconduct by priests in the diocese. The report says those bishops continued moving credibly accused priests from their parish, subjecting dozens of additional children to abuse. Current Bishop Thomas John Paprocki says that effective changes have been made, and there has not been a credible claim of abuse in the past 20 years. But Raoul's report says the Springfield Diocese continues to downplay past cases of abuse and has not been fully transparent about the scope of the problem. You can read more at clergyreport.illinoisattorneygeneral.gov. ready.gov. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hi, I'm Ed Lex, your Springfield Edward Jones financial advisor. There is nothing more important to me than understanding what's important to you. Only then can you and I work through our established process to build your personalized strategies and the specific actions needed to help you achieve your financial goals. I'll continue to partner with you and your family throughout your life, revisiting your goals and risk tolerance, as well as the strategies we develop to help keep you on track towards your goals. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone. So prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4 Verdon and online at hendricks.tv.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. It's all clear skies and fair weather. Sunny today, 86 degrees. Low tonight about 54. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 73. Low around 47. Friday sunny with a high near 77. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80, and Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
Get ready for Memorial Day weekend with 11% off everything at Menards. Get grilling with an 8-pound bag of hardwood lump charcoal, just $5.99 after rebate. Light up your outdoor space with a bamboo torch and citronella fuel, just $4.99 each after rebate. And finally, relax in a patriotic quad chair, only $12.99 after 11% off. Good through May 29th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details on all the great Memorial Day deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Eye on Travel Minute. The latest research is out on the most expensive as well as the most affordable domestic destinations for families this summer. The survey looked at things like average cost of a round-trip airfare, hotel room rates, and meal costs. The most expensive trips this summer? No big surprises here. New York City comes in at $5,500 per family for a week-long trip. San Francisco, $4,800. And the most affordable domestic destinations for a family of four? Coming in at number 3, Orlando, Florida, about $3,600. Followed by Oklahoma City at $3,200, and the most affordable family destination this summer, that's Toledo, Ohio, with an average trip costing $2,700. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Eye on Travel Minute.
Brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel, plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Anytime the innocence of a child is violated, it is absolutely devastating, and people should be held accountable for that. And that doesn't matter if it's at Chicago Public Schools or within a Catholic church. And that's something I think everybody can get behind, is the innocence of children should be absolutely maintained in every aspect. But an alarming report from the Illinois Attorney General after a 5-year investigation found that there were close to 2,000 victims over the span of 70 years, with more than 600 Catholic clergy spanned all across the state involved in alleged sexual assault of children. And obviously, when you hear about this, it's a big scandalous story and something that's on the top of a lot of people's minds. And Attorney General Kwame Raoul yesterday unpacking his report. And you can actually see the report in a lot of detail, including breaking down where exactly all of these incidents happen through the Attorney General's website. The report on Catholic clergy child sex abuse in Illinois for 2023. It's available at clergyreport.illinois, all spelled out, clergyreport.illinoisattorneygeneral.gov. And there you can see the executive summary. But then you can even go into the dioceses themselves and look at, say, for instance, here in Springfield, you can click on that. Shows you all the counties that are involved for the Springfield diocese. And then it gives you a variety of different other types of reporting, including the names of the abusers and the clerics, and all of the different narratives that there are, and how long the reported abuse took place, and how many reported survivors there are. So you can go through and check into all of that as well. So a lot to get to here. Let's go ahead and hear what Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul had to say yesterday during a news conference on a release of this report that, again, spans over a 5-year investigation looking at 70 years worth of data and interviewing hundreds of victims in this case. Here is Attorney General Kwame Raoul with an overview of what they found.
This report represents the state of Illinois' first comprehensive accounting of child sex abuse by members of the Catholic clergy in the 6 dioceses across Illinois, including the dioceses of Belleville, Joliet, Peoria, Rockford, Springfield, and the Archdiocese of Chicago. Throughout the investigation, we had 2 goals. First, to obtain and provide a full public accounting of substantiated child sex abuse committed by Catholic clergy within the state of Illinois. Second, to give survivors an opportunity to be heard, recognizing that some of these survivors have spent decades on their path to healing. Cooperation from the diocese aside, it was the survivors of child sex abuse who gave purpose and drive to this investigation. Absent their courage and willingness to come forward and discuss their experience, there would be no true investigative report. Over the course of this investigation, my office received more than 600 confidential contacts from survivors through emails, letters, in-person interviews, and phone calls. My investigation team prioritized treating each allegation with respect. They followed every lead that arose to ensure we conducted a thorough and comprehensive investigation. My team worked closely with survivors to record accounts of their experiences as children sexually abused by Catholic clerics. So I would like to express my sincere gratitude to each and every survivor, and to others who contacted my office for trusting us with their deeply personal experiences. Before this investigation, the Catholic Diocese of Illinois publicly listed only 103 substantiated child sex abusers, which substantiated meaning that available evidence supported the conclusion that the cleric or religious brother committed child sex abuse. Now, by comparison, this report reveals the names and detailed information of 451 Catholic clerics and religious brothers who abuse at least 1,997 children across all of the dioceses in the state of Illinois. This means that our investigation led to the disclosure of 348 more clerics than prior to our investigation.
So again, that's Attorney General Kwame Raoul laying out some of the findings of their investigation released yesterday. It was started in 2018 by the former Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan, really hinging off, I believe, the Pennsylvania Attorney General at that time that had released a bombshell report about Catholic child sex abuse. And they intended to carry that through in Illinois. And again, some of the top line numbers here from 100,000 pages of documents and hundreds of interviews with victims. They were able to find nearly 2,000 children had been sexually abused by the Catholic clergy since 1950 in all 6 dioceses: Rockford, Joliet, Belleville, Springfield, Peoria, and Chicago. And that's after the Catholic Church in 2018 had publicly admitted 103 sex abusers, but the reports from Attorney General Kwame Raoul tax on another 451 total over the span of their investigation, finding that out. But then you have some questions and answers, including, could there possibly be more? Here's Thomas Verticchio with the Attorney General's office laying out a response to that question from reporters in Chicago yesterday.
We did far more than just obtain information from the diocese on religious orders. Our investigation would span, and did span, information available across the country so that we could, in fact, identify religious order clerics or brothers who ministered in Illinois and abused, and then approach the diocese about them. So that's one thing. Then the other is, and this is a specific recommendation in the report, we outline the best practices for the diocese to go forward regarding approaching religious orders, requiring that religious orders provide all this information, and that's one of the detailed recommendations. But your question about could there be more, there could be more. But this is a very, very fulsome, complete investigation.
But there were also questions about, were there any prosecutions in all of this? What kind of prosecutions could there be?
If there was any sort of doubt in with regards to the statute of limitations, if there was sort of uncertainty whether things were told or whatever it might have been, we would contact local prosecutors who would have the jurisdiction. Huh?
That was not done, right? There was no.
No, whenever there was any doubt.
Oh, so you did?
Yeah, in those situations, yeah. That doesn't mean that
when I say that whenever there was any doubt, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a later assessment by those local prosecutors that the statute of limitations had indeed expired.
Do you know how many? How many referrals?
Offhand, I don't have that information.
But none that you know of.
The question there was how many referrals did he make, and he didn't have a total off the top of his head there yesterday during the news conference. So a big report. Again, you can find out more and follow along at clergyreports.illinoisattorneygeneral.gov. clergyreport.illinoisattorneygeneral.gov. Coming back, we will hear the statement from Bishop Thomas John Paprocki out of Springfield, but of course, take your phone calls as they come in. Good morning, you're on WMAY. Real quick, please.
Good morning, Greg.
Hey.
I'm not sure, but I don't understand why they only half-ass prosecute these things, and they don't actually take a deep dive into why specifically does this continue to happen over all these decades in the Catholic Church by the same title of people. I think they need to open the books up on that. I don't want to use the word religion, but that's all I got right now. They need to open the books up on that right now and figure it out, because I honestly feel like it's a rite of passage for these people, and there's something wrong with that particular entity.
Well, we'll see what comes of all of this, and if there's a day of reckoning of sorts. But we'll hear what the Springfield Diocese has to say. Coming up next here on WMAY with Springfield's Morning News. Now, 6:51. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all shifts and all positions. Apply today in person.
You hear a lot about influencers these days. Well, the personalities you hear on our radio stations have been influencing purchasing decisions at local businesses in Central Illinois long before it was a hot new marketing buzzword.
Hi, I'm Peyton Adams. I'm a cat mom. I'm engaged, so I'm in the process of getting married. I love live music. I love a good drink. I love a good meal. I love to laugh. I love going to hockey games, baseball games, going to the theater, and just being out and about with friends. If it's fun, that's for me. I've worked with live music venues, restaurants, eye doctors, and I'm open to supporting and endorsing your business next. I love the capital city and all the areas around it. I would love to help endorse your business, your product, your service, and help take you to the next level.
Make a bigger impact with your marketing dollars and pair your business needs with the right local influencer and campaign strategy. Learn more about all of our local influencers and start the conversation today at MidwestFamilySPI.com. That's MidwestFamilySPI.com.
Lauterbach Man here. I'm the hulking, handsome man standing out front of Lauterbach Tire and Auto. At Lauterbach Tire, we sell tires. Maybe that sounds obvious to you, but when I say tires, I just don't mean those rubber things on your car. We're exceptional at that, but we also have tires for trailers, motorhomes, and those adorable little tires on your lawnmower. Now, where else will you find those kinds of choices, One place made for people who need tires on anything that needs tires, Lauterbach Tire. We also have tires on our comfy shuttle van. That means while our expert technicians are working on your car, truck, or lawnmower, we'll shuttle you wherever you need to go. I mean, within reason. We're not going to drive you to Germany or anything like that. That's silly. Nothing to see there anyway. When you need tires for anything that needs tires, come to Lauterbach Tire. Lauterbach Tire and Auto Service on Wabash. Drive safely now. On tires.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. I got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
If you're planning a furniture facelift, your timing couldn't be better. Hendricks Home Furnishings is moving all floor samples and warehouse overstock today. They need it all gone, so prices have been slashed to historic lows, never before seen and never to be seen again. That includes Lazy Boy. Come choose your favorites. Get it delivered fast and free during this one and only clearance blowout at the place where you can always talk to the owner. Hendricks Home Furnishings on Route 4 Verdon and online at hendricks.tv.
Let's face it, your company is still feeling the financial effects of the pandemic. And if you own a restaurant, dental practice, or other small business that persevered through lockdown, a quick phone call to Omega Accounting Solutions can be a game changer. Omega Accounting Solutions is an established, respected accounting firm, helping businesses like yours receive the ERC tax credit. Unlike CPAs and others who may not grasp all the complexities of the ERC, Omega's experts are fully trained to understand ERC qualifications and simplify the application process. Learn in less than 10 minutes if you are a good candidate. Call Omega even if you've applied for other pandemic assistance in the past. If your company employed 5 to 500 employees during the COVID crisis and continue to pay payroll taxes, you may be eligible to receive a refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Running a small business is challenging enough. Trust Omega Accounting Solutions to help claim the tax credits you deserve. Call now 1-800-300-9ERC or online at OmegaTaxCredits.com. The phone number again, 1-800-39-ERC. That's 1-800-300-9372.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
So we're talking about the Illinois Attorney General's clergy sex abuse report released yesterday that highlighted close to 2,000 victims of 400-plus clergy over the span of 70 years in all 6 Illinois dioceses across the state. And here in Springfield, Bishop Thomas John Paprocki released this statement, and I'll just read it verbatim. The Attorney General's inquiry into the history of clergy's sexual abuse of minors in the diocese has served as a reminder that some clergy in the church committed shameful and disgraceful sins against innocent victim survivors and did damage that simply cannot be undone. As bishop of the diocese, I cannot undo the damage of the past, but I've been and continued to be fully committed to ensuring we do all we can to prevent abuse from happening again. The changes our diocese enacted have proven to be effective, as we are not aware of a single incident of sexual abuse of a minor by clergy alleged to have occurred in the diocese in nearly 20 years. As difficult as this process has been for all involved, especially the victim survivors, we credit the Attorney General's office for bringing about greater transparency and especially for keeping the spotlight on this issue to help us sustain the vigilance with which we guard against any future threat of abuse. We hope the Attorney General's office continues this vigilance for creating safer environments within our institution, and it doesn't stop with just the Catholic Church. We stand with the other 5 dioceses in Illinois in the commitments to accountability, transparency, reform, and sustained vigilance. Like the other 5 dioceses, we report all allegations to civil authorities and encourage victim survivors to do the same, and we have a victim assistance ministry and special offices to handle childhood sexual abuse allegations. Bishop Thomas John Paprocki continues in his statement, our review board includes lay professionals with backgrounds in areas such as law enforcement, education, psychology, and medicine. They review and make recommendations to me, Bishop Thomas John Paprocki, regarding the withdrawal of clergy. We also conduct robust, safe environment abuse prevention programs, which includes background checks for everyone who works and volunteers with the church. We have also listed all substantiated claims of sexual abuse of a minor by clergy in the diocese on their own website, dio.org/promise. Bishop Thomas John Paprocki finishes up his statement here. The diocese, our diocese, he says, in Springfield has a victim assistance coordination ready to help anyone who's been victimized. And he says he pledges to support victim survivors in any way that he can as to sustain vigilance and take all the appropriate measures to prevent any future recurrences. So that's the statement from Bishop Thomas John Paprocki here in the Springfield Diocese after that report came out from the Illinois Attorney General highlighting nearly 7 decades worth of allegations found credible of child sex abuse against minors conducted by the Catholic clergy. So there's that story. Something, obviously a lot of victims are going to have a little bit of closure, but I don't think that you're ever really going to have closure from such a devastating incident that really just damages trust entirely.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Lindsay Watts. Relatives of 19 students and 2 teachers gunned down a year ago at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, still waiting for answers. A year after the mass shooting, they want to know why it took officials more than an hour to confront and kill the shooter. ABC's Ishmael Estrada has been in Uvalde for a year. He says living in the town has been difficult while the case is still investigated.
Now there's sporting events where some of the parents will show up to and they see one of the officers umpiring a game or as a coach for another team. It's very, very difficult to get around because it's a town where not only does everybody know everybody, but they're related to people as well.
Among the commemorations today in Uvalde, releasing butterflies in honor of the 4th graders and teachers who were killed. Across Guam, they've been getting ready.
When they said typhoon would come to Guam, I'm very scared.
She and others buckled down for Typhoon Mawar, bringing winds of 140 miles an hour, heavy rain, and a storm surge of more than 15 feet. Despite more negotiations, ABC's Andy Field says there's still no agreement on raising the debt ceiling. And the June 1st deadline set by the Treasury Secretary is coming fast.
The White House saying they have removed one dire option from the debt ceiling talks.
Both the president and the speaker reiterated that default is off the table.
But spokesperson Corinne Jean-Pierre didn't point to any progress in the deadline talks, and it's not clear if House Speaker McCarthy can get his own party behind any deal to avoid default.
There's a lot of avenues out there that they've got to find. You've got to come to an agreement.
The Treasury says they have less than a week left to do that. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis expected to enter the 2024 Republican race for president later today. The plan right now to do it in a live stream on Twitter alongside owner Elon Musk. This is ABC News.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com.
Coming up, we've got the state legislature coming back today. They're in overtime. Expected that they're going to take up a budget. We'll hear some of the back and forth from late last week about the budget process and maybe some of the big budget items that are going to be tucked in there. But also, we'll talk about a bill that advanced. It's expected to come up in the House after passing the Senate, dealing with license plate readers and what data can be used for what. So that's coming up. But also, after 7:30, we'll open up the phone lines for you to sound off on the GOP field for president. Ron DeSantis expected to get in. That's after Tim Scott threw his name in. You've got Asa Hutchinson. You've got Nikki Haley. You've got former President Donald Trump. Who do you see rising to the top here? So we'll get to that in the last half hour of this hour. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, now 7:04 on WMAY.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. An Illinois man is facing charges after he allegedly drove his car into a building that's being planned for use as an abortion clinic in Danville. Prosecutors say 73-year-old Philip Bino of Prophetstown was found stuck inside the vehicle that he had backed into the building, which is currently undergoing renovations. He was reportedly carrying several containers of gasoline with him and is charged with attempted arson. Bino could face 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted. A live stage version of a long-running TV game show is coming to the UIS Performing Arts Center this fall. Wheel of Fortune Live takes the stage Saturday, October 14th. It will give audience members a chance to play the game, spin the wheel, solve word puzzles, and win prizes ranging from trips to Paris or Hawaii or up to $10,000 in cash. There will also be audience games offering additional chances to win. TV host Pat Sajak and Vanna White are not part of the tour. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. You can get more information at wheeloffortunelive.com. With time running out, U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says something has to happen now to resolve the dispute over the federal debt ceiling. But Durbin is as much in the dark as anyone about what a successful deal might look like. Durbin says he's willing to make some compromises to avoid a catastrophic default as early as June 1st, but says Republicans have to be willing to give some ground too. The Illinois State Fair has booked another big name for the grandstand this summer. Alanis Morissette, a 7-time Grammy winner who has sold more than 75 million records, will perform in Springfield on Sunday, August 13th. She's best known for hits like You Ought to Know, Hand in My Pocket, and Ironic. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster with prices ranging from $85 to $95 or a Blue Ribbon Zone ticket of $150. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at aa.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
Hello, everybody. Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving, your Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Thanks for that. Is your driveway a sloppy, muddy mess? Are you tired of getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe you're sick of all the sloppy mud in the car and in the house. Or maybe you don't want all the garbage rock in your lawn. Well, if so, call Cousin Bill at Illinois Paving. ILPaving.com. ILPaving.com.
Get today's headlines delivered to your inbox every morning. Subscribe now at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. It's all clear skies and fair weather. Sunny today, 86 degrees. Low tonight about 54. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 73. Low around 47. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80. And Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 1, we're a second-generation, family-owned and operated business. My dad and older brother opened this store almost 25 years ago. Their sons are still involved in the business. You're not just talking with a salesperson at Verlo, you're with family, with the guys that build your mattress. We're not just selling you a mattress, we genuinely care about improving the quality of your sleep. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Listen, at Verlo Mattress, saving a lot on a comfortable mattress with a lifetime comfort guarantee is easy. Why? Well, because we make our mattresses right at the store. Yeah, we cut out the middleman, and voila, you got it. We pass the savings directly onto you every day. So hurry in today to your local Verlo, where there are no middleman markups. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
Do-it-yourself ordering kiosks now inside Head West mean getting your sub faster.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
No council roundup today. There was no meeting last night. Forgot about that. They're taking this week off. They'll be back next Tuesday, so we'll have a council roundup following that meeting. So no council roundup today. If we do have a council roundup, it's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. And don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. Let's talk about the Illinois state budget and where we're at in the process. As lawmakers on Friday left for the weekend before leaving town, they did not reveal a budget. So taxpayers still don't know how much money they're going to be spending or what they're going to be spending it on. The budget year starts July 1st. So just some of the protocol. The Illinois Constitution says any measure passed after May 31st with an effective date of immediate must get a supermajority out of both chambers for it to be enacted. That includes a budget. And with the budget year starting July 1st, the clock's ticking. Now, typically in years past, of course, COVID disrupted a bunch of that, and the budget impasse during the Rauner administration interrupted a bunch of this. But typically, the legislators schedule themselves in through May 31st, and they adjourn on May 31st. So they can, take all the last-minute steps that they need to take to pass legislation, including a budget. Last year, they got out at mid-April. It was a primary year, so they wanted to get back in their districts and prepare for that year's primary election. This year, they had scheduled to adjourn Friday, May 19th. Well, that date came and went. Despite assurances from legislative leaders they would be done May 19th, they did not finish the budget process. This after the governor proposed a budget in February of nearly $50 billion, and then we had April revenue estimates come in, which typically every year is a windfall. That did not produce, and you have a revenue number for the month of April alone that was $1.8 billion less than the April of 2022. So the revenue crunch is real, and they're anticipating, all of the other pressures there are on the budget, including pensions. And that's going to cost about $1 out of every $5 of state tax dollars that you pay going to pensions. They're looking at possibly spending $10 billion on pensions. So that's one big pressure. But there are other big pressures, including the proposals and ongoing Illinois policies of giving taxpayer subsidies to undocumented migrants for health care costs. So those are another big pressures, and that's estimated to cost more than $1 billion in the coming fiscal year, just with Illinois' policy of funding health care for undocumented migrants over the age of 42. Some want to drop that age down to 19. So we'll touch on some of that, but also hear from the Republicans who have been critical of this process here with WMAY. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. So let's get right into it. Governor J.B. Pritzker last month, he was asked about the revenue decrease and what that's going to mean for the budgeting process. Here's the governor at a stop here in Springfield last month talking about what his administration's doing in anticipation of that revenue decline.
I think the good news is, as you know, that the amount that we're talking about is a very small percentage of the entire overall budget. We're talking about possibly 1% of the entire budget. So we've, knowing that this might be coming, we've ramped down some of the spending here and there within all of our agencies to make sure that we could cover that 1% difference.
So the governor acknowledging that they're going to have to tighten their belt and limit how much the agencies spend on all of the different priorities that they have laid out. Well, one of the priorities, as we mentioned, the taxpayer subsidies for undocumented migrants. And this, again, is something that's estimated to cost more than $1 billion in the forthcoming budget that starts July 1st. Illinois has a policy in place right now that allows for taxpayer subsidies without any matching federal dollars. And I think this is important to note, because typically taxpayer-subsidized health care for citizens, you get matching federal dollars. It's like dollar for dollar. So if the state spends $4 billion for, say, a taxpayer-subsidized health care benefit, they get a $4 billion match from the federal government. Well, when it comes to funding health care for undocumented migrants, those matching federal dollars are not there because, well, you can't do that under federal law. So you could do it with state tax dollars, but not federal tax dollars. A couple of weeks ago, a group of people pushing for more taxpayer subsidies for undocumented migrants held a news conference, and one of the state representatives, Teresa Ma out of Chicago, was there. And she talked about the policy that they want to enact to lower the age down to 19, which could increase how much taxpayer subsidies go to undocumented migrant health care.
Immigrants are part of our community, and we need to ensure that everyone has access to health care, especially preventative care, so that the costs down the road do not expand and become prohibitive. So, for the members of my community that would truly benefit from this expansion and who have benefited from the expansion of 42 and above, I think it's really important to maintain the healthcare services that we have made available, but also strongly consider and include in the budget as much as we can to expand healthcare access to as many people as possible.
So again, looking to expand that coverage to, quote, as many people as possible as part of the budget. Governor J.B. Pritzker at that same event from earlier, he was asked about this, the estimated $1.1 billion costs with Illinois' policy as is, and what kinds of suggestions he's giving to lawmakers to deal with that estimated cost. Here's the governor responding to that question of what kinds of things could the legislature do to shore up costs for undocumented migrant health care?
Well, as you know, it's a program that's different than Medicaid and different than regular private insurance. It is possible, for example, that there could be, for some people at certain income levels, copays. That's an example of something that would defray the cost of the program. That's one example. Another is, a question about reimbursement rates and what level the reimbursement rates would be for whatever services are given to people. So those are two among many, but really we gave them many options to choose from and ideas that they could take back to their caucuses and talk about, and we've tried to answer every question that's been brought to us. But these are all things that I think are reasonable to consider to make sure that we're reining in the cost, but also serving the people who most need this health care.
So Governor J.B. Pritzker giving some suggestions there on how to deal with the growing cost of migrant health care. Will those suggestions be worked into the budget? That's still a question that has yet to be seen. But one thing's for sure is that the state's budget has ballooned considerably, just even over 10 years. 2014, the amount of revenue coming into the state was $37 billion. So 10 years ago, $37 billion, and the governor's proposed a $50 billion budget for this year. This is a point that State Representative Jeff Kiker laid out when he addressed members of the media late last week about the inflation of Illinois spending.
So let's frame this a little bit, too. As we look at when I came in 5 springs ago, we were dealing with an approximately $40 billion budget. And today we're looking at a $50 billion budget. Our budget has increased 25% in 5 years. We have folks calling each of our district offices with priorities on current programs that have been in place for a long time, such as adults with disabilities, such as long-term care facilities, such as reducing the PUNS list. And we continue to create new cost-consequential areas to spend resources. We have the money. Right, we're suggesting stay within the bounds of what we've got last year. We've got 25% more than we did 5 short years ago. Why do we need to continue to expand when we aren't taking care of the commitments that we have already put into place?
So again, Kiker saying that, hey, we keep inflating our budgets because we're getting more revenue. Why not keep the budget the same as it was previously and just use those revenues, to fund other much-needed programs? Something else, too, that could be part of the new budget is a Chicago city-wide effort to deliver peacekeepers to the streets to combat violence. The governor announcing this yesterday that a citywide crisis prevention and response unit's being created with peacekeepers that are going to be taking to the streets to try to prevent emergence of violence altogether by the ensuring that the pressures of trusted and recognizable community members in locations where violence might emerge, even when residents are outside of their home communities or attending large events. So the CPRU group, it's going to cost this fiscal year $700,000, but what is that going to cost for the next fiscal year that begins July 1st? Again, big looming question that has yet to be answered, and taxpayers continue to maintain a kind of a holding pattern as to what they're going to see emerge in the budget process. But the whole thing has upsetted State Representative Stephen Reich, who had this to say on the House floor late Friday.
If the state of Illinois was a $50 billion publicly traded company, the SEC would be in here like you wouldn't believe, and the management of this company would be going to jail. I can't believe that we're sitting here on the day we're supposed to adjourn. We don't have a budget. We don't even have a breath of a budget. Back in the Browner years, it was asked, "Where's your budget?" Oh, maybe the dog ate the budget. I don't even think we have a budget that a dog on that side of the aisle could eat, because I don't think you're that close. I have never seen such rank incompetence in an administration as I have seen in the last 4 weeks. A $50 billion state that can't even put together a budget on its own timeline. I can't understand why it is that we have the management that we have. We need new management in this state. Everything about this thing just as absolutely disgusts me. It's May 19th. It was your date for us to adjourn. We're going to be back here next week. We'll probably be here until 3 o'clock on some morning just in order to pass a budget, because that's the tradition. The tradition is dropping it at 3 in the morning so nobody sees what we do under the cover of darkness. I'm ashamed of every single solitary one of us over here. I'm ashamed of our inability to be able to move this process along. And I'm doubly ashamed of those of you on that side of the aisle who thinks this is funny.
So a lot of passion there. Will we see the budget today? Will it be tomorrow? The lawmakers back today, tomorrow, and the House is in on Friday before the weekend, the holiday weekend. We'll see what happens. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY now, 723 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Deliver smiles, butter burgers, fresh custard, and great service. Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all positions.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
You hear a lot about influencers these days. Our personalities have been influencing local purchasing decisions long before it was a hot new marketing buzzword.
Hey, my name's Kyle Hutchinson. You can just call me Kyle. I am a lifelong Central Illinois resident, grew up and still call Chatham my home. I've been on these airwaves in some fashion for the last 12 years, and I would love to endorse your product, your service, your business.
Learn about all of our influencers and campaign strategy. Start the conversation today at MidwestFamilySPI.com.
Green Hyundai still doing their thing, even if Mike Quimby's out on vacation. And in his stay, you've got Brian with Green Hyundai telling us all the great things that they've got on the lot for you during their construction clearance sale ongoing. Brian, tell us what you got.
Greg, well, Mr. Quimby's enjoying a much-deserved vacation and has tasked us with selling 100 cars this week. So, in honor of the Indy 500, we're going to give everyone that comes in to ask for the Indy 500 discount $500 off. Hyundai's going to kick in $500 off, $1,000 off on popular Hyundais. Makes for a good down payment.
That's no question. $500 off. That's going to save people some money heading into the summer driving season. And just give us a taste of some of the vehicles people will have to choose from.
Popular models, Santa Fe's, Tucson's. We've got a ton of Elantras. Come out and see us. 1200 South Dirksen, across from JCPenney.
All right, Brian with Green Hyundai. Greatly appreciate it. Mike Quimby would be proud. Have a great day, all right?
Take care.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power. Batteries of all shapes and sizes. Excellent service. Exceptional value.
They're called Motobat batteries, and we have them at Rex. Motobats are batteries for motorcycles that are powerful enough to handle all your accessories. As you add new gadgets to your motorcycle, the standard factory battery may not be enough to handle it all. The Motobat battery is designed to send enough juice to the whole motorcycle and keep you moving down the road. At Rex Battery, we have all kinds of batteries for all kinds of vehicles. The Motobat battery has a quad flex terminal design, shortening the path to the battery cable. That means you get quicker power delivery and improved starting ability. If you have a motorcycle, you need Motobat. Rex Battery on Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Head on over to WMAY.com/poll and take today's daily poll, which asks you about something we're going to open up the phone lines for next segment. And that is, who are you supporting in the GOP race for president? Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Asa Hutchinson? Looks like Ron DeSantis is leading in that as of right now, in that six-way race. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll. While you're there, find out how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, celebrating 75 years as Springfield's airport. Make it happen at WMAY.com.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
No council roundup today. No meeting last night. They took this week off. They're back next week. They typically take a week off if there's 5 Tuesdays in a month. So the Springfield City Council a while back saying, oh, no, we're going to take this day off. Actually, I recall last week there was just a very brief conversation. We didn't air with the council roundup, but it did have Alderwoman Conley asking if they could come in this week and take off next week after the Memorial Day holiday. But they did not want to advance that. So they had last night off, which means no council roundup. If we had a council roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. All right, so with that gives us the opportunity to open up the phone lines. And I want to ask you about the question we posed via the WMAY poll, and that is, who are you supporting for the GOP nomination? Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Asa Hutchinson. This after you've got the news out yesterday that Ron DeSantis is going to be announcing his presidential bid in a Twitter Spaces interview with Elon Musk. So that's going to be later on today. And then he's going to start making the TV rounds. So it looks like Ron DeSantis, as a lot of speculation had it, is going to run for president. So we'll open up the phone lines for you next at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. Right now, though, 7:31, and we've got to get a check of headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story: ground has been broken on a new $10 million base civil engineer complex that could mark the beginning of a new era for Springfield's Air National Guard unit. The 183rd Wing will consolidate several operations into the new facility at Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport. Since the unit lost its fighter jets more than a decade ago, it's been evolving into a support role for a variety of military operations. U.S. Senator Dick Durbin and Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher joined other dignitaries and National Guard officials for the groundbreaking ceremony. With time running out, U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says something has to happen now to resolve the dispute over the federal debt ceiling. But Durbin is as much in the dark as anyone about what a successful deal might look like. Durbin says he's willing to make some compromises to avoid a catastrophic default as early as June 1st, but says Republicans have to be willing to give some ground too. Nearly 80 years after he died in combat in World War II, the remains of an airman from southern Illinois are being brought back home. 32-year-old Tech Sergeant Harold Kretzer of Odin was flying a mission over Romania when his plane went down, and he was buried in an American cemetery in Belgium. Early next month, Kretzer's remains will arrive at his final resting place, Camp Butler National Cemetery in Springfield, with ceremonies planned there at 1 p.m. on June 2nd. A 5-year investigation into sexual abuse of children by Roman Catholic clergy across Illinois has produced a sweeping report alleging more than 450 offenders and nearly 2,000 victims since 1950. The report released by Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says several former Catholic bishops in the Springfield Diocese, William O'Connor, Joseph McNicholas, and Daniel Ryan, ignored warnings about misconduct by priests in the diocese. The report says those bishops continued moving credibly accused priests from parish to parish, subjecting dozens of additional children to abuse. Current Bishop Thomas John Paprocki says that effective changes have been made, and there has not been a credible claim of abuse in the past 20 years. But Raoul's report says the Springfield Diocese continues to downplay past cases of abuse and has not been fully transparent about the scope of the problem. You can read more at clergyreport.illinoisattorneygeneral.gov. A northwestern Illinois man is facing federal charges after he allegedly drove his car into a building that's being planned for use as an abortion clinic in Danville. Prosecutors say 73-year-old Philip Bino of Prophetstown was found stuck inside the vehicle that he had backed into the building, which is currently undergoing renovations. He was reportedly carrying several canisters of gasoline with him, and he's being charged with attempted arson. Bino could face 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted of the attempted arson charge. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
WMAY News, brought to you by The Inn at 835. Let The Inn at 835 handle your next business or social gathering with style.
What are you hungry for?
Obed and Isaac sounds good.
They're always busy.
Yeah, they are. It's because the food is great. The selection of craft beer is amazing, and it's downtown. It couldn't be at a better location.
What if we have to wait?
We'll put in our name, give them our number to text us when our table is ready, and then go next door to the 7th Street Cidery and start there.
I like the way you think. They serve meads too, right?
Yeah, they do. You can get your mead, and I'll start with a flight of cider. They're constantly getting new ciders on tap all the time.
What if Obed's isn't busy and they seat us right away?
The cidery doesn't close till 11, so we can just finish the night there.
You've got this all figured out, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You should see my reward points that I've built up.
So, you're buying, right?
I didn't say that.
That's what I heard.
No, you didn't.
Obed and Isaac's Microbrewery, located in downtown Springfield, right next door to the 7th Street Cidery. Enjoy.
The Muni kicks off the season June 2nd with a classic musical, Fiddler on the Roof. Presented by Edward Jones, the story centers on Tevye, a poor milkman and his family living in their tight-knit Russian Jewish community. Rich in historical and ethnic detail, Fiddler on the Roof's universal theme of tradition cuts across barriers of race, class, nationality, and religion, leaving audiences crying tears of laughter, joy, and sadness. Edward Jones presents Fiddler on the Roof, opening June 2nd at the Muni. Get tickets at the box office or themuni.org.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. No dig, multi-purpose fence panels are easy to install. Just lay out your panels and hammer the posts directly into the ground, and your fence is complete. Right now, 31 by 36 no dig, multi-purpose fence panels are just $10.99 each after 11% off at Menards. Good through May 29th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Everywhere with the WMAY app. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. It's all clear skies and fair weather. Sunny today, 86 degrees. Low tonight about 54. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 73. Low around 47. Friday sunny with a high near 77. Saturday sunny with a high near 80. And Sunday mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health: meditation. It starts with proper breathing. By breathing in slowly for 5 or 10 seconds and exhaling, counting the same way, for just a few minutes each day has been a big deal for many people as they reach a new level of relaxation. Now, that's just a start. If your feelings of depression and hopelessness are accentuated with drugs and alcohol, then you may need some professional help. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychiatrists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Gateway also uses meditation as a key component of their successful treatment. Your insurance covers the cost, and the Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
As a state employee, you work hard to make Illinois a better place. At Health Alliance, we do too. It's our Illinois roots that set us apart. Our HMO plan for state of Illinois employees features the doctors and hospitals you know and trust. So whether you're a first responder in O'Fallon or a staffer in Springfield, Health Alliance is the obvious choice for your state employee coverage. Learn more at healthalliance.org/state of Illinois. The benefit choice period ends May 31st.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
No council roundup today. The city council in Springfield had last night off. We'll be back at it next week, 5 Tuesdays in the month of May. They take one of those 5 Tuesdays off, and this week was that week. So no council roundup, but if we had a council roundup, it's brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. Head West Subs. In the meantime, other things to tackle, including I want to get your phone calls as to who you think should be the GOP nominee for president. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here, live and local. And those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, I want to hear from you as well. All right? Call in. That's the best way to do it. 217-629-7970. Who do you think should be president of the United States, or at least the GOP nominee? And it's actually our question on the daily poll. If you go and check that out at WMAY.com, gives you an idea of all of the candidates in the GOP field thus far. Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, Asa Hutchinson, and it looks like, it's bouncing around all over the place. Ron DeSantis was in the lead just moments ago, but now Donald Trump has taken the lead. Nobody likes Vivek Ramaswamy? Interesting. Didn't he lead to Don Lemon getting fired from CNN? So go vote at the poll, but best way to do it and get your voice heard is here on WMAY with Springfield's Morning News. We'll get those phone calls lined up, so get them in at 217-629-7970. But I wanted to share a video that Ron DeSantis' Twitter account shared yesterday. It's got over 5.5 million views right now. It's a short video, and all it does is really just has a kind of a voice overlay, and then Ron DeSantis heading into a stage type setting, and here's how that plays out.
They call it faith because in the face of darkness you can see that brighter future, a faith that our best days lay ahead of us. But is it worth the fight? Do I have the courage? Is it worth the sacrifice? America has been worth it every single time.
So again, has a pretty, short and sweet 30 seconds. Just showed Ron DeSantis walking towards a huge American flag. Looks like he's backstage. And then, the voiceover talking about, is it worth the fight? Ron DeSantis turns to his right. You see his profile, and then he walks towards what looks like a curtain opening up and onto what appears to be a stage. And then the text of the video shows up. It says, want more information? Text launch to 5 512-345. And when you do that, you get a message back that says Ron DeSantis for president. So obviously he's running. So that's the latest name to get into this. I want to hear from you now at 217-629-7970. Who do you want to be the GOP nominee for president? Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. I'm right now. If I had to vote right now, I'd say Nikki Haley would be who I want to see. I want somebody that can actually win a general election, and I don't think Trump. I never voted for Trump anyway, but I don't think he can win a general election. I'm not sure DeSantis can. I want somebody that can actually win a general election. We got to get the White House back in Republican hands and bring some sanity back to this country.
So you think Nikki Haley's the one to make that happen?
Yeah. First woman president. Somebody that I think appeals across the spectrum. I think that would appeal to different groups. I think the key is. It's one thing to get the base, but you got to bring in the independents. Those are the people that decide elections, and I just think Nikki Haley could do that.
Appreciate the call, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News as we line those phone lines up. Good morning. You're on WMAY. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm going to vote for Ron DeSantis because he's maintaining Florida as a free state, as opposed to some of the slave states we have in this country.
What do you think of the NAACP, though, putting out a travel advisory saying don't travel to Florida? They don't care about black rights and trans rights and Disney rights and so on.
Well, a lot of them guys live in Florida. You talk about hypocrites, and they're not moving out of Florida. So that's just propaganda.
Got you down. All right. Springfield's Morning News with WMAY taking your calls on who you think should be the GOP nominee for president. Got a field that's stacking up. Tim Scott just announced he's got a lot of funding behind him. Could he possibly be a VP pick for one of the top choices in the GOP, or is he going to be the top choice? We shall see. But you've got Donald Trump in the mix. The former president of the United States. Make America great again, right? However, a lot of people, I think, are starting to see that he's just damaged goods and has a whole bunch of baggage. Apparently, his attorneys are trying to meet with the Department of Justice about unfair treatment. So if you've got that dogging you all throughout the campaign, how's that going to fare for, who ultimately is going to be the GOP nominee? Good morning. You're on WMAY. Who do you want to see be the GOP nominee?
Hey, good morning. The only two people on that have enough support or money to win a general election is going to be DeSantis or Trump on the GOP side. Trump, he got 80. He got more votes last time, especially with the Durham report coming out. He could point that he was basically targeted by law enforcement and intelligence agencies. I think that's going to get a lot of sympathy from the voters. And in all reality, all they have to do, either one of them, is start doing the absentee ballots, doing the ballot harvesting, all the legal means that the Democrats use. As soon as they implement those tactics, they've got in the bag. They've got almost every metric. But I'd like to see RFK Jr. on the Democrat ticket side, if I can throw that in.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just thinking about raising that, as you mentioned, all these candidates on the Republican side. Listen, there could be a primary on the Democrat side. Incumbent Joe Biden, the president, Democrat, okay, sure. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Tossing his hat in the ring, and he's got a lot to say about a whole host of things, from foreign conquest being the wrong way for America, from corporate fascism that he sees happening, to all of the health policies about individual choice and informed consent. Robert Kennedy Jr. comes from the Kennedy name, and he is a force to be reckoned with. It's interesting to see how the corporate media is downplaying Robert Kennedy, who I think could probably run circles around President Joe Biden in a debate. So will we see those debates? Probably not. Will the corporate press give him a fair shake? Probably not, but his name likely will appear on ballots across the country, so we'll be watching that space in the Democratic primary as well. I appreciate the call. 217-629-7970. Let's get more of your calls. Who do you want to see be the GOP nominee? Good morning.
Good morning. I would vote for Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. What do you know about Tim Scott other than he's a U.S. Senator?
Not a whole lot, just a little bit that I've heard. I feel it almost sounds like he's got the most common sense, and I think we are seriously in need of some common sense.
There's no question about that. Common sense is in short supply. And it seems like the higher you get into the political chain, the less common sense you have.
Exactly.
I appreciate the call. 217-629-7970. Let's get more of your calls. Good morning. Who do you want to see be the GOP nominee?
I got to go with the Sanctimonious.
The Sanctimonious, the nickname that Trump has given Ron DeSantis. You think that's going to stick?
I hope it sticks. I think it'll be interesting to see if he's an effective leader when he doesn't have a supermajority or because they're not going to probably have a super House and Senate, after this election. So it'll be interesting to see if he's an effective leader without having Florida behind him. But I think he has the best chance.
And one thing I think a lot of people are attracted to, at least from the Republican side of the aisle here, is that DeSantis, he doesn't shy away from taking questions from the media and quickly turning the question around and rubbing the reporter's face in it. But he does it in a different manner than Trump would do it, right? Trump would just say, "Oh, you're a fat pig," right? DeSantis would break it down and essentially say, you're asking a question from a Marxist critical theory background, which is absurd, and the American people don't like that, so please stop asking those. He'll take that type of approach, right? He'll still shoot down the question, give a substantial reason why it's a ridiculous question, and then move on. And that's a bit of finesse that while Trump was bombastic, Trump just doesn't have that.
I think McCarthy's shown good leadership as well. And I like how he can spin reporters' words and actually articulate a good response that makes sense for people to be able to follow. I think it's just too soon for him to be able to have enough name recognition and national recognition to be able to make a presidential run.
But you know what? McCarthy is third in line for the presidency right now. So
why would he give up that for just a chance? So.
That's right. I appreciate the call. See if we can get more of your calls coming up here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. 7:50 now from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
You probably think the sun is what's costing you money in this summer with all that heat driving up your air conditioning bills. But what if the sun could save you money? It's time to schedule your free residential solar estimate today from MB Heating and Cooling. Solar energy could be the way to bring down your bills while helping to promote a cleaner, greener environment. Illinois wants to produce 25% of its electricity from renewable resources by the year 2025, so this is a great time to enhance your home with solar paneling. You can start with little to no money down and enjoy monthly solar payments that are lower than your budget for electricity. You'll even qualify for federal and state tax incentives. MB Heating and Cooling has been creating healthy homes and businesses here in our area since 1986. They have certified technicians staying on top of the latest trends in the industry. So reach out to MB Heating and Cooling to talk about whether solar is right for you. 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328, or mb-heating.com.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 6, we build a double-sided mattress. For those that don't intend to flip their mattress or don't want to spend a bit extra to get a flippable mattress, single-sided mattresses are a good fit, and we have plenty to choose from. However, if you prefer to have a mattress that is flippable so you have a fresh side to use, we give you that option. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Listen, at Verlo Mattress, saving a lot on a comfortable mattress with a lifetime comfort guarantee is easy. Why? Well, because we make our mattresses right at the store. Yeah, we cut out the middleman, and voila, you got it. We pass the savings directly on to you every day. So hurry in today to your local Verlo, where there are no middleman markups. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area. into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We stand behind what we sell. We offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
We've got a few more minutes here for you to get your calls in at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. But looking at some of the comments from YouTube, you've got Greg saying Trump. DeSantis for the next time. Chuck says Trump all the way. James says DeSantis with Tulsi Gabbard as his VP. Chris, he says DeSantis. Others, King, he says that I find it interesting that since I just got into politics, other than Trump and DeSantis, the others are not really mentioned. Chuck says, let's see here, some other comments coming in. So go check that out. You can comment here. Illinois Armory says DeSantis is the winner here. Others sound off about a variety of other political things and whether or not Trump is going to surface to the top. But I'd like to hear from you at 217-629-7970, who you think should be the Republican nominee for president. And listen, I mean, again, just to talk about the overarching issues here, you've got foreign policy, you've got the border crisis, you've got the ongoing debts that the country has to contend with, and a whole host of other issues, including the weaponization of government, which House Republicans are delving into quite a bit. How do you get that straightened out? And how do you manage heading towards an election year with all of these factors involved and even the big overarching questions of election integrity? For some reason, election integrity, it appears that only one side can raise issues. If you raise issues from another side, you get called an election denier. But there's legitimate election integrity issues, including the mail-in balloting expansion that a lot of states have increased the mail-in voting and ballot harvesting, and Republicans are trying to scramble to find out how they can take advantage of that, similar to how Democrats have taken advantage of that. But what about the independents? That's really who's going to be making the day here, right? It's those who don't side with Republicans or Democrats all the time. But even within that camp of independents, you have more conservative independents and you have more liberal independents. And even in the libertarian camp, you have more conservative libertarians and you have more liberal libertarians. So I think that group of people, the independents, those who don't subscribe to party politics, that will be going to the polls to cast a ballot. And what are they going to be swayed by? Are they going to be swayed by Ron DeSantis' war on woke, as he's even come into Illinois multiple times to talk about before his announcement? Or is it going to be somebody who's talking about, green energy and spending more tax dollars and having open borders and such? So it'll be fascinating to see how this goes. And, of course, Ron DeSantis making that announcement tonight, and that's unique on its own. It's going to be on Twitter Spaces, which is an audio platform where anybody on Twitter can pipe in and hear conversations between people. So it's going to be Elon Musk and Ron DeSantis on Twitter Spaces tonight. That's pretty bold. And then, of course, DeSantis is going to be making the rounds on all the TV shows. So it's going to be interesting. It looks like we're kicking that door wide open for the 2024 presidential election, and we'll be tracking that for you here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News, now 8 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville. Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Lindsay Watts. Uvalde, Texas, marking 1 year since a devastating loss.
Before May 24th, 2022, few people had heard of Uvalde, Texas. But at 11:32 that morning,
Uvalde County 911. He just jumped the fence. He's running toward the school. Please, hurry.
An 18-year-old former student walked into Robb Elementary School, shot and killed 19 students and 2 teachers.
We pray for our community. We pray for our community. For our children who've been impacted.
Funerals and vigils were followed by investigations into a police response considered deeply flawed.
It was an abject failure. It violated all the principles that we've learned so much over the years.
Even by people within law enforcement, like Texas Department of Public Safety Director Colonel Steve McCraw.
My belief is there's possible criminal culpability. There was malfeasance committed that particular day.
In the meantime, some Uvalde families have channeled their grief into activism and lobbying the Texas legislature to tighten gun laws, an effort that met resistance.
Not a single bill was prioritized to save a human life.
Manuel Risso's niece, 9-year-old Jackie Casares, was one of 21 people who died a year ago at Robb Elementary. I'm Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Negotiators for President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy back at it again today, trying to hammer out a deal on the debt ceiling. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
The bottom line, neither side will get everything that it wants. Time is running out. The House is scheduled to leave for recess tomorrow. Members will be leaving Washington. Negotiators say there are still significant gaps in these negotiations and discussions. And Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy has privately told his members they are nowhere near a deal.
140-mile-an-hour winds and a 15-foot storm surge, part of what's in store for the Pacific island of Guam as Typhoon Mawar bears down. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis expected to announce that he's running for president. He'll do it live on Twitter. This is ABC News.
Inflation has pushed up the cost of just about everything, which means if you bought life insurance a few years ago, it might not be enough to protect your family today. Now is the time to get the insurance you need at a price you can afford. In a hurry? Don't worry. Call Select Quote now and get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam. That's right. You can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam in under an hour.
Call Select Quote at 1-800-613-8990. That's 1-800-613-8990. Or go to SelectQuote.com now and get up to $2 million in instant, affordable same-day coverage with no medical exam. That's 1-800-613-8990. Or go to SelectQuote.com now. Full details on example policies.
Well, it's Wednesday. We got another half hour with you. We'll, later on this half hour, get business in the 217 out to let you know what's going on in and around the business community. A little bit of some odds and ends next, though, including a measure at the State House that could limit out-of-state law enforcement's access to license plate reading camera data for a couple of instances. So stay tuned. We'll get to that coming up here on WMAY. It's now 8:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Nearly 80 years after he died in combat in World War II, the remains of an airman from southern Illinois are being brought back home. 32-year-old Tech Sergeant Harold Kretzer of Odin was flying a mission over Romania when his plane went down, and he was buried in an American cemetery in Belgium. Early next month, Kretzer's remains will arrive at his final resting place, Camp Butler National Cemetery in Springfield, with ceremonies planned there at 1 p.m. on June 2nd. The Illinois State Fair has booked Alanis Morissette for the grandstand this summer. The 7-time Grammy winner has sold more than 75 million records and will perform in Springfield on Sunday, August 13th. She's best known for hits like You Ought to Know, Hand in My Pocket, and Ironic. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster with prices ranging from $85 to $95, or a Blue Ribbon Zone ticket for $150. A northwestern Illinois man is facing federal charges after he allegedly drove his car into a building that's being planned for use as an abortion clinic in Danville. Prosecutors say 73-year-old Philip Bino of Prophetstown was found stuck inside the vehicle that he had backed into the building, which is currently undergoing renovations. He was reportedly carrying several canisters of gasoline with him, and he's being charged with attempted arson. Bino could face 5 to 20 years in prison if convicted of the attempted arson charge. Ground has been broken on a new $10 million base civil engineer complex that could mark the beginning of a new era for Springfield's Air National Guard unit. The 183rd Wing will consolidate several operations into the new facility at Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Since the unit lost its fighter jets more than a decade ago, it's been evolving into a support role for a variety of military operations. U.S. Senator Dick Durbin and Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher joined other dignitaries and National Guard officials for the groundbreaking ceremony. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power. Batteries of all shapes and sizes. Excellent service. Exceptional value.
They're called Motobat batteries, and we have them at Rex. Motobats are batteries for motorcycles that are powerful enough to handle all your accessories. As you add new gadgets to your motorcycle, the standard factory battery may not be enough to handle it all. The Motobat battery is designed to send enough juice to the whole motorcycle and keep you moving down the road. At Rex Battery, we have all kinds of batteries for all kinds of vehicles. The Motobat battery has a quad flex terminal design, shortening the path to the battery cable. That means you get quicker power delivery and improved starting ability. If you have a motorcycle, you need Motobat. Rex Battery on Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
The month of May is Motorcycle Safety Month, National Barbecue Month, and National Hamburger Month. Those have the guys at Just Beds all fired up for summer. This month, get sizzling hot deals on Bemco twin mattresses, just $149, and Bemco queen pillow top mattresses, only $289. Get to Just Beds for a better night's sleep. Plus, register to win Night's Action Park passes. As always, free delivery, setup, and removal. Visit the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Just Beds.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at AA.com. Fly local. Fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. It's all clear skies and fair weather. Sunny today, 86 degrees. Low tonight about 54. Tomorrow sunny with a high near 73. Low around 47. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Saturday, sunny with a high near 80. And Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
You probably think the sun is what's costing you money in this summer with all that heat driving up your air conditioning bills. But what if the sun could save you money? It's time to schedule your free residential solar estimate today from MB Heating and Cooling. Solar energy could be the way to bring down your bills while helping to promote a cleaner, greener environment. Illinois wants to produce 25% of its electricity from renewable resources by the year 2025. So this is a great time to enhance your home with solar paneling. You can start with little to no money down and enjoy monthly solar payments that are lower than your budget for electricity. You'll even qualify for federal and state tax incentives. MB Heating and Cooling has been creating healthy homes and businesses here in our area since 1986. They have certified technicians staying on top of the latest trends in the industry. So reach out to MB Heating and Cooling to talk about whether solar is right for you. 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328, or mb-heating.com.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Maintaining your yard is easy with Greenworks outdoor power equipment. There's no need to mess with oil or gas with a 40-volt cordless push mower. It's powerful, lightweight, and starts instantly with a push of a button. Pick up a Greenworks 40-volt push lawnmower for just $299.99 after 11% off. Good to May 29th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hello, everybody. It's Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving, and we want to thank you for voting us #1 Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Now, is that driveway of yours a sloppy, muddy mess? Is your driveway becoming a nuisance? Are you getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe your driveway is soft and it's unfunctional. Well, call the day and get on the schedule to get your driveway back to looking good, and you'll feel great about it. ILPaving.com. ILPaving.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Tons to get you still here on WMAY, so thanks for hanging out. Of course, the legislature's coming back to Springfield today after not being able to pass a budget. But they've done tons of stuff, all right? Just gobs and gobs and gobs of stuff. How many bills have they passed in the year that they've been in? Here we are now since January when they started. You've got 311 bills that passed out of the House and around 200 or so that passed out of the Senate. So you're looking at even more. So 311 out of the House, 203 out of the Senate. That's 514 bills that have passed the Illinois legislature. Can they pass any more? Yeah, obviously. We're waiting on the budget, and they've got a whole bunch of other legislation that could be advancing here in the days ahead as they are now in overtime. And we'll be looking at a lot of this throughout the week. So very much, hopefully they get done at a certain time by Friday. We'll see. But the concern of speculation around whether or not they're going to be here until 3 o'clock in the morning, I think that is possible either tonight, tomorrow, who knows, Friday into Saturday morning. What are they going to do? A lot of different bills, though, passing outside of the budget, which hasn't even been brought forward yet. One of those deals with license plate reading technology and what exactly that can be used for. This is a fascinating debate that happened on the Senate floor on Friday, dealing with what lawmakers are wanting to limit when it comes to out-of-state law enforcement using license plate reader technology. So here you've got State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz and also State Senator Jill Tracy debating this measure at the State House, which would essentially say that, well, I'll just let Sarah Feigenholtz explain her bill and what exactly it's going to do if it indeed becomes law. So here is State Senator Sarah Feigenholtz talking about that particular measure.
This bill will prohibit out-of-state law enforcement from utilizing automatic license plate data gathered in Illinois to prosecute people seeking legal reproductive health in Illinois or to detain people based on their immigration status. I'm sure many of us know that the utilization of ALPRs has been proliferated, and this is an effort to protect that data.
If we have a minor girl that was brought to Illinois from Missouri by someone who had sexually abused her to undergo an abortion, would this law stop the license plate data from being used to bring the abuser to justice?
It would not.
I beg to differ. If the girl is transported in a car and we're saying that the license plate information could not be used, how would that prevent the abuser from having that information used with the technology of the license plate reader?
The prosecution for trafficking or sexual abuse is able to be accessed, but the reproductive health care data is not.
And I urge a no vote because we're going to perhaps make this too broad and allow a true perpetrator and abuser to go free and avoid prosecution.
So that's some of the debate there was on this measure that did pass the House. But just to give you some more context, of course, Illinois has some of the most lenient abortion laws in the country. And we've seen an influx of out-of-state residents coming to Illinois for that medical termination of a pregnancy. The Illinois Department of Public Health data shows that more than 46,000 induced pregnancy terminations were performed in Illinois for 2020. Nearly 9,700 of those were from out-of-state residents. A breakdown of some of those states: Missouri led with nearly 6,600 residents seeking abortions in Illinois. Indiana was distant seconds with nearly 1,900. Wisconsin residents getting an abortion in Illinois for 2020 totaled 531. Kentucky residents in Illinois getting abortions totaled 142. Tennessee totaled 108. There were fewer than 100 residents from each of Michigan and Arkansas receiving abortions in Illinois. Now, most of the abortions performed in Illinois were fewer than 8 weeks into the pregnancy. Nearly 13,000 were up to 11 weeks. Nearly 3,600 were up to 15 weeks. And about 1,800 were more than 16 weeks into the pregnancy. Other Department of Public Health data that you can search through yourself for the most recent year that they have, 2020, for all abortions performed in Illinois, shows nearly 40,500 females got an abortion in Illinois were unmarried. So all that data, by the way, comes before the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade and put the issue of abortion back to the states to deal with. And since then, and that was, last summer, it's been reported that Illinois continues to see an increase in the number of abortions performed on out-of-state residents in Illinois. So House Bill 3326 passing the Senate, the measure not just impacting what law enforcement can use data from license plate reading cameras to not allow them from out of state to use that data to track down those getting abortion services in Illinois. It would also prohibit such data from being used by out-of-state law enforcement for tracking down undocumented migrants in Illinois. So now the measure goes back to the House for concurrence. The House, Senate, both in today, both in tomorrow. The House continues on Friday. So maybe they'll bring that bill up. And something else that was brought up but didn't get enough votes late Friday out of the House. deals with sub-minimum wage for individuals with disabilities, and if they're on disability, they can't make a certain amount of money before they lose their disability. And apparently, that works for a lot of individuals with disabilities, but the state's wanting to phase that out to increase that sub-minimum wage to minimum wage. But there's a lot of pushback. Republicans saying that a lot of the facilities that utilize those employees are very flexible, and the system works for them. They need more funding, of course, and they do get more funding through bake sales or 5K races or a variety of other fundraisers. But the concern was that by taking this program away, you're going to take away a lot of the ability for these individuals with disabilities to get a paycheck. They don't care how much they make. They just want a paycheck. They just want to work. And that measure brought up on the House floor late Friday, despite Democrats having the supermajority in the House. It didn't get enough votes. I don't know if Democrats just left the floor. It got up to like 58 votes, and then they had to do a postponed consideration, so maybe we'll see that brought back up. So there's going to be a lot of different stuff, a hodgepodge of sorts, when lawmakers return today, tomorrow, and Friday. Budget's top of mind. Will we see those details and how much they want to spend of your tax dollars? We shall watch and see. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Got to take a break. Coming back, we'll hear about business in the 217 with the Springfield Business Journal. Stay tuned. It's 8:19. Let's take a look at that forecast. Absolutely gorgeous this week. We're looking at a high of 86 today with sunshine, the low of 54 with sunny skies, into Thursday, the high of 73. And then Friday, sunny with a high of 75. Saturday, sunshine, the high of 80. Sunday, mostly sunny, the high of 82. And Memorial Day, sunny skies with a high of 86. Right now, 54 degrees, and the sun is shining at 8:19. Let's check that temperature again because the sun's been out for a bit. We've got 67 degrees out there at 8:19 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Work with a team that cares about being the best part of the customer's day. Apply today at Culver's West on Wabash.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 7, Verlo to go. With Verlo's bed in a box, you can easily take a queen or king mattress, load it into your car, and be on your way. Easy peasy. If you live out of town and prefer to have it shipped, we can do that. The best part, you can try it before you buy it. Quick, convenient, comfortable. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Listen, at Verlo Mattress, saving a lot on a comfortable mattress with a lifetime comfort guarantee is easy. Why? Well, because we make our mattresses right at the store. Yeah, we cut out the middleman, and voila, you got it. We pass the savings directly onto you every day. So hurry in today to your local Verlo, where there are no middleman markups. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank. 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Let's face it, your company is still feeling the financial effects of the pandemic. And if you own a restaurant, dental practice, or other small business that persevered through lockdown, a quick phone call to Omega Accounting Solutions can be a game changer. Omega Accounting Solutions is an established, respected accounting firm, helping businesses like yours receive the ERC tax credit. Unlike CPAs and others who may not grasp all the complexities of the ERC, Omega's experts are fully trained to understand ERC qualifications and simplify the application process. Learn in less than 10 minutes if you are a good candidate. Call Omega even if you've applied for other pandemic assistance in the past. If your company employed 5 to 500 employees during the COVID crisis and continue to pay payroll taxes, you may be eligible to receive a refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Running a small business is challenging enough. Trust Omega Accounting Solutions to help claim the tax credits you deserve. Call now 1-800-300-9ERC or online at OmegaTaxCredits.com. The phone number again, 1-800-39-ERC. That's 1-800-300-9372.
Shop Macy's last-minute gift sale and save 20 to 60%, plus an extra 20% off great gift ideas with your coupon or Macy's card. Not sure what to get? Let them choose with a Macy's gift card. Shop your local Macy's early and late, and get your orders faster when you pick up curbside or in-store. Plus, spend your Macy's money on anything, no merchandise exclusions. Details at Macys.com/Macy's Money. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
All right, head over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll, which asks you about the GOP field for president. With Ron DeSantis tossing his hat into the ring, who do you prefer? Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, or Asa Hutchinson? And still leading Donald Trump. 36% in that six-way choice. So go vote at WMAY.com. And while you're at the website, don't forget how you can win a $75 flight rebate from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, celebrating 75 years as Springfield's airport. All you got to do is answer a trivia question. You get it right, you're entered to win that $75 flight rebate each and every week. So go and learn how you can win today at WMAY.com.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Well, it's one of my favorite segments, Business in the 217. Let's take a look at what's going on in and around the Springfield business community. Springfield Business Journal publisher Michelle Ownby joins us with a breakdown of all that's going on. Michelle, my wife and I were out running some errands on Saturday, and we saw there off of Wabash, off in a strip mall, a new establishment. And I even asked Megan, I'm like, hey, look that up. Is that open? And it's not open yet, but it's opening soon, and it's a new place to get what I think is a growing craze in the food space, and that's stuff in a bowl. What's going on with Bowl Plus?
Yes, you are right. This is definitely an emerging craze. It is a Japanese ramen and rice bowl restaurant. You know, who would think that ramen noodles would be such a big thing, right? They're like less than 50 cents if you buy a pack at the store.
Well, I tell you, one thing we've been doing at home is we take those really cheap ramen packs and we zazz it up. We put egg in there, we put tofu in there, cabbage, broccoli, mushroom. We load that thing up and it's delicious.
Well, this is going to be your kind of a restaurant then.
Love it.
So Steve Zhao is the one behind this, and that's a pretty familiar name in the Springfield restaurant world. He currently has the Hibachi Madness restaurant. There's two of them, actually, one out far west in a strip center that he developed, and then a newer one up on North Dirksen. And he's had a number of restaurant ventures over the years, both in Springfield and Central Illinois. So he has partnered with a gentleman he knows from the East Coast who's been working in similar restaurants out there for the last 10 or 12 years and now bringing the concept to Springfield. So as you noted, the sign is already up, but they are still in the process of remodeling. He says they're hoping to be open by July 1st. They have gotten a liquor license from the city, and he says they'll have a selection of imported Japanese beers and still kind of finalizing the menu, but he said the boba tea is under consideration as well. That's another big thing these days. So, yeah, I feel like Springfield's really expanding their dining options lately with a lot more choices.
A lot more choices. It's not just burgers, fries, and horseshoes anymore. You can get out there and try a variety of different foods from all around the globe, really. So looking forward to that opening up. And, of course, Hibachi Madness, their sushi burritos are just, oh, come on. I mean, they're incredible. I could eat my weight in those sushi burritos. Michelle, with the Springfield Business Journal, you guys keep your tabs on all kinds of things, new businesses opening, but also businesses that are looking to change hands. And you've got one that is looking to do just that. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this one is more of a transition. So the good news is the business is staying open, but after more than 2 decades of operating Chinatown, owner Kim Votsmeyer is selling the art studio to one of her longtime customers, Dr. Tabitha Wells. And that art studio is out there in one of the strip centers on UCAN Drive. Now, Kim also operates the business right next door, Art for You, which is an artist co-op. She said she's going to keep that and just kind of focus on the artist co-op. And, you know, I would classify this as another one of those COVID fallout stories. We probably haven't seen all the repercussions yet, but Kim said she's had the business for 21 years, but ever since they reopened following the COVID shutdown, she says she's hired and trained 13 different people, and she currently has one person who works there 4 hours a week, and she's doing everything else. So just the staffing and management has been a real challenge for her, and she's decided to focus her efforts on the artist co-op. So she is passing the torch, but again, that business will stay open. Kim and her husband are actually going to continue to teach some classes there, so not a drastic change for the business, but we certainly wish the new owner well and continuing to make that work.
One thing I see heading down to St. Louis when I visit family is a huge billboard for a Southern Illinois university, and it talks about how 216,000 pilots are needed. And that's something that we're going to see possibly here in Springfield, a program to, train new pilots? What's going on there?
Exactly. This has the potential, I think, to be pretty big for Springfield, and a formal announcement is supposed to be forthcoming in the next 2 or 3 months. But, you know, we have people that tell us things, so we got a tip about this. As you mentioned, Southern Illinois University already has a pilot training program in Carbondale. They're keeping that one, but they would be expanding with another campus here at Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport. You know, we've heard a lot of doom and gloom lately. Of course, a couple months ago, it was about the number of flights out of Springfield being reduced, but that's certainly not unique to Springfield. It's happening nationwide, and as you mentioned, there's a huge shortage of workers, right? Just like we talked about with Chinatown, no matter what the industry, some are harder hit than others, but there are not enough people to do the work in most cases. So one of the big pushes has been to try to get more pilots trained, commercial pilots. And they're going to start out this program small, maybe 6 to 10 students, but they say it could eventually grow up to 100. So no matter how you look at it in terms of jobs, in terms of revenue, I think it's all a big plus for Springfield.
No question, and great utilization of the space out there at Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport. Talking with Michelle Ombie, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. Finally here, Michelle, Saturday's a deadline for people to do what with the SBJ?
Yes, 40 under 40, that's always a big one. Our annual program recognizing young professionals. This is actually our oldest awards program going back to 1997. So there are a lot of former 40 under 40s out there at this point, yourself included, and many of them no longer under 40, but that's okay. So we're asking whether you're a former recipient or not, or maybe you just know a young professional that deserves some recognition. Take a few minutes, get on the Springfield Business Journal website and click on the awards tab to make a nomination. And as you said, Saturday is the deadline to do that. We will start notifying people right after the holiday weekend.
Michelle, tell us how people can get a copy of the Springfield Business Journal.
Well, as long as you're on the website at springfieldbusinessjournal.com, you might as well sign up for Biz Bites. That's our weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday, and it's free of charge. And, of course, you can also sign up for the print edition and make sure you get that delivered directly to your home or office.
Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. Appreciate your time each and every week, and we'll talk again very soon, all right?
All right. Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. It's all the time I've got for you today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. It's going to be a long day and a long rest of the week with the legislature back in town. What are we going to see? Are we going to see a budget today? Who knows? So stay tuned. A lot more coming up, including delve into that and some other issues with full disclosure, the Better Government Association joining Jim Leach next here on